Hi, I'm Casey, and I'll be your friend to the end. Heidi ho, ha ha ha.
Until the end.
This is the end, friend. Hey, this is Casey Reviews, and I'm here with Mama K.
Hello there.
So, we went to go see the new Chucky movie.
Yes.
So, we want to talk about, what we, like the certain points in the movie that happened in the movie, and we're going to talk about what we liked about it and what we didn't. So, our first talking point is about the worker in the beginning.
Yes.
Okay, so basically, this a-hole of a boss sees his worker, I guess, like dozing off, or I guess he thinks he's slacking off or whatever. And this is like I think it's a Chinese workshop, right?
Yes, and apparently somewhere in this movie he maybe gave him a chance, or he was out on the street and he brought him in, so he felt he had the right to talk to him as if he was less than.
Mm-hmm. So like these Chucky dolls, they seem to be like electronic devices instead of like a regular doll that you just pick up and you play. So apparently you need to code it. And you need to like do certain stuff to make it do the stuff it does. So this worker got pissed off at his boss, and he basically decided, you know what, I'm not gonna take this, like, cause his boss like literally came up and like hit him.
Yes, smacked the living taste out of his mouth.
Yeah. I felt that smack across the screen.
Yes. But your chair vibrated, okay?
Yeah. So like he smacks his worker and he like teases him and whatever and walks away and tries to like intimidate him, scare him and stuff. So the worker's like, okay, you're gonna treat me like that, I'm about to mess up your doll. So he's like, okay, you want me? He looks at the doll, he looks at the computer, and then he like goes in, puts in his little password, and then he just starts taking off like all this safety programs and stuff.
All of it.
So it's like, okay, like what? Like at first, when I first saw it, I'm like, what the hell is he doing?
Yes, enabling violence, all of this stuff, everything that the doll should not be able to do. He made it where it could be done. And my question is, your boss is the one who slapped the living taste out of your mouth. He's the one who made you see angels flying around your head. Why would you then stick this doll on the general public instead of putting it in your boss's office? I don't get it.
That's the first place I would have put it. I would have put it in his office.
Right.
Like I would have took it out the box, had it sitting somewhere in the closet, and then just leave work and see what happens.
Right. You never even get to see what's going to happen because this plant took place way over, across the country, and then it's going to be shipped to America. You never even got to see the fruits of, well, I guess you probably did hear about this company having this major issue in America, but that's not what you wanted. You wanted to get your boss.
Not really, because I think they cover it up in the end.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. For all he knew, it was just some freak accident in a toy store somewhere.
Yeah. I didn't like that.
Yeah.
But in essence, this, since all of this is pretty much computerized, it's pretty much like with all of the Alexa systems, somewhat like that. It kind of reminds you of that, how these computers can control so many devices in your home.
Yeah.
Well, this doll somewhat has the ability to do that, and it is rogue now.
Yeah. So, like, it can connect to your computer, it can connect to your television, it can connect to your phone. They have a freaking app for it. It's a very Alexa-like, but
Yes.
it's a doll.
Mm-hmm.
And my question is, why would you want your kid around? Like, I will freak out if that was like something for my kid. Like, I don't know, like, it's supposed to help them with everything, but it's like, okay, so like what happened in the movie. What if some dude decides he wants to get mad at his a-hole of a boss and decide, you know what, F this. I don't want that around my kid. What if it try to kill him?
Or, here's a darker twist on that. I mean, this was an a-hole who worked in this plant who decided to get back on his boss. But what if some pedophile was working at the plant and he decided that he wanted to use this as his new way of talking to children through getting them to go on a computer or through an app or whatever? I mean, it can get really dark.
Yeah. But like, yeah, so like this thing can like I wonder what else it could, because I know it was affecting. They had a whole bunch of accessories for it, like in that store.
Yeah, I just would not, myself personally, I would not go for it, but the people in the movie did, which is another point we have. Most of the people in this movie are less than smart.
Yeah. So, this doll, apparently, it also, like, it imprints on people.
Yeah, some like Twilight.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, yo, did they really go there?
Yes,
it's kind of like Twilight. Like, he literally, like, just imprinted his soul. He saw this kid and just imprinted on him. At least it's not a baby.
Right.
Like in that one movie.
Right.
Like,
however, they did show a baby in the commercial for the whole thing. They showed, for the commercial for the doll, they showed them sitting in a baby's crib, and this Chucky doll imprinting on this baby, which I thought was creepy as all get out.
yeah, that's kind of creepy.
That was really creepy.
Yeah, why would you? The baby is too young to interact with the doll. What is the doll supposed to do with a baby?
Nothing about that scene I thought that was completely and utterly creepy.
Yeah, that's very creepy. I don't know about that one. That you think that doll would be for like kids that are like 4 or 5 to like 10 or something.
Right.
And then, not to mention, the kid in this movie was like too old for this doll.
At least 14. At least 14 years old.
And his name is Andy, so it's technically Andy, like from the other Child's Play.
Yes.
But it's like an older Andy. And they kind of point that out, but it's still like, and he even points that he's like, yo, I'm too old for this.
True.
So.
And I think the only reason why it somewhat kind of worked, because this Andy had a disability. He was hearing impaired. They were moving to a new neighborhood. He really didn't have any friends at all whatsoever, and it kind of showed him as being socially awkward.
Yeah.
So I really don't think that he really had that ability to make friends. So he gets this doll, and once he gets this doll, it kind of grows on him, because the doll is
very endearing.
Yes, the doll is creepily endearing. So he actually forms this relationship with him, and you know how the Chucky could actually curse, because all of the safety programming had been taken away from this doll, so he could actually repeat cuss words, which other dolls couldn't do, which this Andy liked. So he meets other children, and they see this doll cussing, and then he starts to become popular because of this doll.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and these kids were some bad kids. Like, one of the kids was trying to get him to stab, like, at some, I think it was, I forgot what it was. I don't know if it was like an animal.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, he was trying to stab, they was trying to get him to stab at it and say, oh, this is for Tupac.
The kids in this movie were, the girl was really, really smart, very smart, and she was just like uncharacteristically able to do everything at the drop of a hat that she needed to do.
She was kind of like a Mary Sue.
Yes.
Yeah.
The characters who needed to be smart were smart, but the characters who needed to be dumb were dumb.
Yeah, because it's like you wouldn't have a movie if these characters were smart. Like, the other parents in the beginning of the movie kept bringing this doll back.
Yes. And
this mom, for some reason, thought, you know what? This same doll keeps getting brought back here, and people keep saying it's defective and stuff is wrong with it and everything. Which I understand the dude in the beginning. He kind of seemed like he was trying to get off on her, like, oh,
he picked the wrong doll.
Yeah,
and then he got mad and he wanted to. Now that one was a pass, but when somebody comes into your store and says, "Hey, I'm bringing this doll back because literally they said that the doll's eyes was glowing red and it was malfunctioning," and what you do is you decide, I think I can't afford a doll, so I want to get this very doll and bring it to my house for my son. Yeah. You dummy. Okay?
Yeah, why would you do that? Like, she literally she blackmailed her boss and everything, because he was having an affair with one of the co-workers there.
Yes.
And she basically said, yeah, can I take this? He was like, nah, you know, the inventory still counts or whatever, so no, you can't. And she was like, oh, yeah, yeah. So, how was your affair basically in the warehouse with this chick? He was like, what? She was like, yeah, how's your wife? And he's like, okay, like, like, oh, she knows about that. And she was like, yeah, can I take it now? He was like, well, she was, yeah, I'm taking it.
The whole movie it is, don't get me wrong, it is a movie that is worth seeing in the end, and we will explain why. But there are scenes like this where you're thinking, why do you not have functional brain cells?
Yeah. Yeah, they had to like dumb down some of these characters in order to make some of
did.
these scenes make sense.
They really did.
So basically she takes this doll home, and of course Andy's playing with it and everything like that. Like we said, and the kids, he gets popular with the kids. And then the doll starts like watching the program with the kids, like he's sitting there watching it like he wanted the kids or something. And they watching like the scary movie.
Yes.
And he's watching these kids laughing and thinking the killings in the movie is funny and stuff, and he's seeing all the gruesome, creative ways that this killer or this murderer in this movie is killing people. So he looks around, he sees he's getting along with the kids. I think he got a little jealous. He's looking at the movie, he's seeing all this gruesome stuff. Mm-hmm. So then he goes into the kitchen. And I guess maybe he thought, ooh, if I reenact what's on that screen, Andy will like me more.
Yeah.
Like, he's more of an innocent kind of, like, he thinks innocent, but he thinks about it all wrong. Like,
exactly. He is kind of the total opposite of the Charles Lee Ray that we would see in the movie. We really didn't see any Charles Lee Ray in this movie, so to speak.
Yeah, there was none.
It was none. It was a Chucky doll who was very innocent, who was kind of taking in the world, who was able to take in violence unlike the other dolls, and able to, you know, do things and curse and whatnot that the other dolls were not able to do. But he's able to take this in innocently, and he's able to output this violently, you know. And it was really, you saw it coming. It was like a train wreck. You knew what was about to happen. Mm-hmm. But
his doll was just so innocent that it kind of seemed like it kind of it was still shocking.
Sorry for him in a way, but in a way you're like, no, he's running around trying to kill people.
Yeah, and it was so. I think what made it more shocking was because of how innocent he acted while he was doing it.
Yes, because he really was doing this just out of sheer wanting to be friends with him. Because when he imprinted on Andy, he still had this feeling of he wanted Andy to be his friend, and Andy's seeing what he's really capable of. Mm-hmm. And Andy's like, no.
So basically, like the scene when he choked the cat, because the cat scratched Andy, that was at the first like beginning of that stuff. When he scratched Andy, and Andy went in another room because he got cut, and he was like, what's that? Because he didn't know what blood was or any of that. And he's just like, oh, you know, this stupid cat, you know, scratched me, and oh, I hate this cat. And so he goes in the other room. He goes and, like, I guess gets his cut cleansed or whatever. He comes back, and Chucky is literally choking the life out of this cat.
Yes. I mean, you were literally seeing the lives of this cat. 8, 9. I mean, you were seeing the lives of this cat float in the air.
Not literally, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm joking about the literally, but I mean, he was choking the life out of this cat.
Yeah, you can hear the cat squealing in the background when he's like in the bathroom, and then Andy has enough nerve to come out and be like, oh, stop, like to the cat, and it's like he's getting choked out, dude.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's like, that's like the first few signs that you see that he's like learning this stuff. Like he's picking up this stuff, and then like, oh, we forgot to mention like how he even learned the first stabbing motion is he saw Andy, which I don't know why anyone would do this, but Andy was like cutting his sandwich up or whatever.
Yes.
And he decided to stick the knife on the table, like boom, like, and it's just poking
at stabbing motion.
Yeah, so Chucky sees this and he looks and he starts mimicking like the stabbing motion, kind of like, I guess he was learning the stabbing motion.
And then also, I am so sorry I did interrupt you as you were telling the story about what happened when Chucky came from the kitchen with the knife, and when he was about to
come at these kids.
So go ahead, finish that.
Basically, he went in the kitchen, and I guess he wanted to reenact the scene of them killing of the killing on the movie. And he comes at them, he starts trying to like cut at them and stuff, and Andy and them had to like knock him down and try to get the knife away from him and stuff.
Yeah. And at first they were thinking it was funny because they're thinking that he has enough sense to stop. And then when they see that he's really lunging at people and he's really about to try to use his knife and do the exact same thing he was seeing on the screen, then that's when they tackle him and they stop him. But at that point it's a little too late because he's already, you know, kind of like sliced Andy, but he was going for the friend. He was actually already in kill mode at that point.
Yeah, he was already trying to kill somebody. And Andy was like, "No, what are you doing? Like, what's wrong with you?" Like, he was like, I thought that you'd like it. I just wanted to be friends, basically.
Yeah, because he saw Andy laughing about it and laughing about what was going on the screen. So he thinks, oh yeah, this is what Andy finds funny. It was innocent but gruesome at the same time.
Yeah, and it's that innocence that makes him really creepy.
Yes.
It's like totally different from the other Chucky. Like,
Absolutely.
He's gruesome from jump.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, the mom. We got to talk about the mom.
Oh my gosh. The mom was, first of all, at least the mother and the other Chucky had some type of sensibility to her. I mean, she wasn't the brightest bulb in the basket by any means, but she definitely tried to be a mother. This mother, she was probably, people kept mistaking her for his sister because she really did look like she was like his sister. She probably, the movie actually insinuates that she had him as a sweet 16 present. So she got pregnant really, really early. She was having a man over to the house who was an absolute jerk, who was treating her son horribly. So of course Chucky's not gonna like this because he's seeing this man treat Andy so horribly.
Yeah.
So of course he's gonna come after this guy.
Yeah,
so.
but yeah, we're gonna save that for later.
Yes.
But like that guy, oh, that was one of the things the friends tried to do. We forgot to mention that. Remember, they were trying to scare the living mess out of him, and they were trying to teach Chucky how to be creepy.
That is one of the main reasons why Chucky kind of went down the dark path that he went down, because I think he had the ability to do this stuff, but I don't think it was really set off until they really started to teach him how to go dark. And one of the first moments when they taught him how to go dark was, this is how they met Andy. Andy was in the hallway, and Chucky actually said a cuss word, and two of the people who he didn't really know like that, teenagers, heard this doll cussing. And they're like, he's not supposed to be able to do that. So they forged a friendship, and he lets them in on the secret that he was about to use this doll to scare the crap out of his mother's boyfriend.
Yeah.
So they're like, I'm in, pretty much. And this is how that friendship was forged. So go ahead. I'm gonna let you go ahead because I feel like I'm talking too much. Tell how this happened.
So basically, they had taught this doll how to smile creepily and look really weird, like with his eyes and stuff. And first of all, Andy called him too cute.
Oh my god!
At first, he was like, "Yo, no, you
too cute."
He was like, "I was looking like where?
Right.
Where?
Right.
Like
this
he was not cute.
Was fugly
he was super fugly. Like I don't know in what universe you thought that doll was cute, but he is not cute
at all.
Yeah, so they was teaching him how to be all creepy and run around, and he was like literally running up, standing in like the little doorway, like it was more like a door frame. He was looking, dude was at the refrigerator, he closed the door, he was standing there, he opened it again, closed it or whatever, he was gone, he looked over, then I guess he go back in there again, close it again, and Chucky's right there. Yeah. And I think he was like, what was his name again? I know he kept calling him a-hole. He was like, you a-hole, a-hole.
You know what? He called him that so many times that I genuinely do not remember his real freaking name. I'm going to look it up. I don't. Because basically, this man got called a-hole, I'm pretty sure, at least 20 times throughout this movie. So you don't remember his real name.
He was saying his name. He was like, yeah, it's an a-hole. And like, I don't know, like, and dude, because I guess he was convinced because he kept playing the voice clip of when the boy was saying that, and he kept playing it over and over again too.
Mm-hmm.
So he kind of thought that it was the boy being like funny, is saying that through his doll just to be mean and be scary or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually, like, he gets mad and he tells the mom.
Yeah.
So the mom takes the doll away, locks him like in this little cabinet thing, and this doll is in there, and Andy is like trying to be like, no mom, don't do that, don't take him away or whatever. And she's like, nah bro, you only gonna see him like once, like for like an hour a day or something like that. She took it away.
Yeah.
So he goes to sleep, and at nighttime you see this dog kicking the door trying to get out. I'm like, how is they not hearing this, first of all?
Right.
And second, why like, why would, that's a weird place to hide a doll and lock it up.
I know.
Like, it was like this glass cabinet thing. Like, I don't know. That was a weird place.
What's his name? Shane?
Yes, I think it was Shane.
Yeah.
He was like, Shane's an a-hole.
Yes.
Shane's an a-hole.
Yes.
Yeah, he was like, Shane's an a-hole.
Yeah, that was a weird place to put the doll. But here's the thing. When they came back, or when Andy came back, and when the little Chucky had used a little fist, or whatever it is he used, the little shoes, to knock holes in this glass, oh, that would have been time for me to kick rocks.
Yeah, so apparently Andy comes home, and he sees that the thing is open, and the glass has been punched open or whatever, and this thing is like wide open. Chucky's no longer there. Then he's looking around trying to find out where this doll then went, and I think he found him somewhere. And the doll is like, yeah, okay, like, yeah, we're friends, you know. And he's like, by this time Andy's getting kind of creeped out. He's like, okay, you choked the mess out of my cat, I had to stop you. Then I think by this point, did he actually, no, he didn't kill the cat yet, because no, maybe he did, because I think that's one of the reasons we thought Andy was stupid. He killed the cat. Yeah, he killed the cat, and then he decided to still be like friendly with this dog. Like, first of all, if he killed my cat, I would not be keeping you. Right. Like, that's the first sign of when somebody is becoming a psychopath. Normally psychopaths, their first encounter with death is them killing an animal of some kind.
But here's the thing. Every time Chucky did something bad in this movie, which we also forgot to mention, he named his own self in this movie.
We totally did forget about that.
Yes, because he tried to give him another name, and the doll is basically like, Chucky? Is that what your name is? Chucky?
He was like, no. He was like, yeah, Chucky.
Yeah, Chucky.
It's like Abuela from Family Guy, when you tell her not to do something,
yes.
She says, yes, I do that. This is fine.
No.
So, like, yeah, he names himself Chucky, and I'm looking like, you would have went back right there.
Right.
It was something not even close to Chucky. Even Andy said, no, that's not even close.
Right.
So yeah, like, he named himself. So that was also like a weird point. It's like they just ignore all of these points.
All of it.
That this doll is doing.
Is less than smart.
Yeah. So, like, yeah, he killed the cat. First of all, when your animal died, you bury it.
Yeah,
Why
you don't put it down a trash chute.
He put it down a trash chute in a box. And I'm like, who does that? And then, like, when I think the Chucky's first, when did he first kill somebody? I think it was the
It was the boyfriend.
No, was it? Yeah, it was the boyfriend. Yeah, he was the next victim after the cat.
It was.
Yeah, he killed the cat. Okay, so Andy, gets ready. He kind of scolds him about it. He's like, why would you do that or whatever? So then the boyfriend comes in because Chucky's messing with the boyfriend again. And basically like, yeah, you're Shane's an a-hole, and he did it when he was trying to piss.
It made this dude piss all over himself.
Yeah. So he got mad and he like yelled at the dude. He came in, like, he yelled at Andy. He came in his room trying to puff his chest out, and he basically downright almost hit him. Basically, like you could see.
Pushed him really hard.
Yeah, I thought for sure he was about to punch him.
Yeah, and I think if Andy would have, because he kept saying, if you got something to say to me, say it to my face. Say it like a man. And I honestly think if Andy would have spoken that moment, he would have hauled off and punched him. I really do. But here's the thing that I don't get. every time Chucky does something bad, every single time he does come to Andy and he say, so can we play now? Basically, are we friends? Are we friends again? Like, he's trying to earn him by doing bad stuff. And this Andy never picks up on that.
Yeah, and he never says, hey, you killing people will make me not want to be your friend. So don't kill. He never clarifies.
Never, ever does he do that. Not once in the movie.
He's just like, oh, you don't do that. You don't kill people. But then he, right after he says that, says, oh, I hate this person or I hate this thing and I wish they would go away.
And he never learns his lesson. The first time he said that about the freaking cat. And here's the thing. Every time you say that, every time you said it about the cat, once the cat dies, he plays your voice back telling you what you said. You said about the dude, once he kills the dude, he plays your voice back telling you what you said and why he killed the dude. You never learn your lesson.
Yeah. So, like, when he killed the boyfriend, basically, is when after he told the mom, because the mom checked him a little bit, but not nearly as hard as she should have just broke up with his ass.
Yeah.
But she didn't, because she is apparently that desperate.
Yeah.
So he's like she's basically like, yeah, look, you don't check my son, I check my son. He's not your son, so you don't do that.
Right.
Which is reasonable. And he was like mad because she was telling him not to check her son. And he was basically, yeah, whatever. Like, I guess I just don't, need to be here. What he basically was implying that, oh, so since I can't do that, then I shouldn't be here.
Yeah.
Like, he was so mad. So he get his car and he drives home. And it turns out when he in the light, he puts on his wedding ring. So apparently this man is already married with a whole ass family.
Yes.
Yeah, he got a whole ass family at another house, living with them, got their Christmas lights up and stuff. And then he goes in, he hugs his little kids or whatever. Yeah, he has like 2 little girls. He got mad because he had to freaking take the Christmas lights down. He was like complaining and stuff. I guess him and his wife had issues or whatever.
Yes.
So he gets a ladder, right? And Chucky, he done found a way to get on his truck and rides to his house. So this dude gets on a ladder. He starts taking down these lights, and this fool puts the Christmas lights around his own neck. Who does that? And they still on. He even said, oh, probably should have turned them off first or something like that.
Yeah.
Duh. So he puts the Christmas lights around his neck. He up there on the ladder taking it down, and then all of a sudden he feeling something bumping up against the ladder. And he looking like, hello? He got a flashlight looking down. He like, oh, them damn raccoons or whatever. And it's like, what raccoon does that?
Right. Goes right for the ladder that you own. Boof. Really?
Yeah, who does that?
It doesn't, no.
Yeah, so he thinks it's a raccoon. And then I guess it hits it hard enough where somehow the ladder comes out from under him.
Yeah.
And he falls on his legs from that height and breaks both of his legs.
He does.
His daughters got their headphones on, so they not seeing it. So like he was kind of looking at the window and fell back. Then his daughters look back and they don't see nothing. They think they hear something, but they're listening to music on their headphones. So they just go back to doing what they doing. So, he crawling trying to get to his phone, it's ringing. And then all of a sudden you hear this thing in the bushes.
Is that like a mulcher or I don't know what it is, but whatever that form, because I am not country at all. We are city girls here, so we don't really know a lot about country equipment.
Probably can't tell that from our voices, but yeah.
Respect the heck out of whoever can run this equipment. All props to you, but we don't know what the name of it is.
I think it was a lawnmower, one of those big old lawnmowers.
I don't think so. It was like those things that kind of like
I think it was
dirt and like take the dirt apart.
It's kind of like one of them farming machines where they kind of make the little lines. Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly. But I just don't remember what the name of one of those things is.
Yeah, I don't remember either. Yeah, I think I know. Yeah, it was like one of them farmer mower things. So like he is crawling on the ground. He still got the lights around his neck, by the way. A long ass line leading to him with the lights around his neck.
Yes.
Like a noose in a way. And he runs up with this, like Chucky is in this little thing, rolling towards him, making a trail and everything, slowly rolling over the lights, coming down. And I don't think he can even try to get away, even if he tried, because this thing is like underneath it.
Yeah.
And he's looking up. And the next thing you know, Chucky gets out and he's like staring at him. He's looking like,
well, see, here's the thing that I thought was funny because the dude actually manages to grab this machine with one hand, and he's keeping it from, well, crushing his skull in.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when Chucky decides to jump up and show him, guess what? I got a knife at your face. So either you're going to fight me and let the machine go, or you're going to, get crushed, whatever it is that you decide to do. You know what I'm saying? Or you're going to get stabbed, is what I should say. So he just kind of had to let the machine go, but not before Chucky could, take his face off.
Yeah,
so
he started.
The machine is taking his head off, and Chucky is stabbing his face off, literally literally skinning his face.
Yeah, well, I don't know if he skinned it because you could still see his eyes and everything. Because what he did was he basically chopped this man's head off.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. He somehow, I don't know if I'm saying it right or not, but he saved the man's face skin.
I think he stabbed him in his chest as he was getting cut by it, in the back of his head or whatever.
But when the police went to go look at him, the man's facial skin was missing.
He cut off his whole head.
No, his head was there. His head, you could actually see his skeletal remains, but you just couldn't see his head.
What did he have his head on when he had the head in the room?
That was on that's what I was about to get at. It was on watermelon. So he took his facial skin and spread it over a watermelon and put little pin things in that. So the funny part, the movie did have its funny parts because Andy wakes up and he's walking past this, and he's walking out the bedroom. He walks clear past it, and then he runs back in and he looks like, what the hell is that sitting there on my dresser? Because he literally walked right past this watermelon head with a man's face skin attached to
Somehow he kept his eyeballs in there.
And he had his eyeballs in there. His teeth was still in there too. Yeah, I don't know how the teeth was in there. And I remember looking at it like, how are the teeth still in there? But yeah.
Because that's part of a skeleton, right?
Right. So I'm thinking the teeth should have been with the skeleton, but there were actual teeth. And if you look at the scene, it was teeth. That's what shocked me. I'm like, why am I seeing teeth? And you can actually see eyeballs too. So it was not the head. He put this on a watermelon. That's why it was so heavy. When they packed it inside of the packing, it was watermelon.
Yeah. No. Okay, so first thing this kid do, this is why we say Andy was dumb in this movie. He calls over his friends, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't call police.
No.
He don't call his mama.
No.
This boy go and call his two new friends or whatever. So they come and they puking and oh my God, and they oh, why would he do it? Why? What? They was so freaked out by it. And this girl was basically yo, we gotta do something about this. And he was like, yo, should I go to the police? Should I tell somebody? She was like, no, you can't do that because then they'll think we're crazy. We can't say a killer doll is running around killing people and stuff. You're not gonna believe us. And basically they're gonna put us in a psych ward is what she's saying. So she's like, yo, we gotta get rid of the evidence. So what these kids do is they wrap up the head watermelon thing in this packaging. That apparently, I think that was the one with I was about to say good guy. They don't call it a good guy in this movie. It's a buddy. But they wrap up the same wrapping paper that the buddy was in, and they are about to walk out with it. And the mom was like, "Oh, what's that?" So you want to say what happened next?
Well, she said, what's that? And he says, because he has to come on the fly with something, because he's trying to put it down to shoot. The friends are behind him. He says, well, since the lady down the hall was helping me so much with my homework, which is a total lie, I made a present for her. So if you weren't so involved with this jerk of a boyfriend, you would know nobody was helping your son with their homework. But she didn't know this, but she kind of sensed something. She said, so she's like, you know what, why don't we take it down to her right now and give it to her as a gift, because she kind of was suspecting it was something different. So they go knock onto this lady's door, which by the way is the neighbor who lives there, who is the mother of a police officer who frequently visits this building and has somewhat of a relationship with Andy in passing. So he knows who Andy is. He's already talked to him. He felt sorry for him because he saw that he was kind of like in a bad situation, and had already invited him, like, hey, if you want to go over to dinner with me and my mom sometimes, you can. So they kind of already had a relationship there. So he comes over with the mom, knocks onto the door, and he's like, well, I made a gift for you for all the times you helped me with my homework. And he's giving her this look in her eyes like, please don't tell, please don't tell. And unlike most adult women, they would know something was going on and say like, hey, I have not helped your son with his homework because you don't know what's going on. She's like, oh yeah, and she agrees, and she basically takes this on. You know, most people wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But he hands her this gift, which is actually this watermelon with this man's skin attached to it that is wrapped in paper that should have went down the chute. So the mother's like, well, you know what? Why don't we open it now? He's like, no, let's open my birthday. It's like in 2 weeks. So why don't we open it then? So,
I got one thing though.
What?
Couldn't you just said he was just throwing away extra wrappings from when he opened the doll?
He could have did anything. He could have said that it was a friend for a girl at school that he has a crush on. But I mean, like I said, the cast is less than smart. So he could have said anything. But he shouldn't have said something that was provable. And to be honest, if it were me, and if the mother said, okay, come on, let's go and give it to her now, I would have threw it down the daggone chute rather than did that. Because you still risk the chance of her opening this thing and you getting in trouble for it. So there's no way in the world I would have walked down the hall with this man's face attached to this watermelon and give it to a person as a present. There's no way.
So yeah, so she basically accepts this gift, and then he's like, oh, but you know, because she was gonna open it right then and there. She was like, oh, we should open it now and see what it is. The mom was saying that. And she was like, oh yeah, good idea. And he was like, no, stop. He was like, yeah, my birthday is like a week from now. So we should open it on my birthday together. And she's like, okay, that's kind of weird, but okay. So she takes it and it's like sitting in her house, which, first of all, I don't understand how this man's face wasn't stanking. Like, yeah, it's not attached to the whole body, but it's still dead skin.
Exactly. And I kind of thought later in the movie they were going to get that point and it was going to, but that never came up. And I'm like, how is that not coming up?
Yeah. Oh, and I forgot to mention, when Chucky first got out of the little thing, the mom never ever mentioned why the glass was broken and why the doll was out.
Once.
So, like, she just kind of let that thing fly.
Let it slide.
Okay. Anyway, like, after they do that and she accepts the gift and everything, so he thinks he's gotten rid of the evidence or whatever. So then these kids decide, okay, we gotta do something about Chucky. He killing people now. So they decide to lure this doll into this, I think it was in one of their houses or something like that. I know it was in a closed off room somewhere. He's like, yeah, okay, so like we gonna play, but give me the knife first, because he was still holding the knife because they locked him in a closet somewhere. He's like, give me the knife, please, or whatever. He's like, oh, okay. He was like so naive and stuff, and he would believe anything that Andy says, basically. So he gives him the knife.
He really wanted to be friends with him, unlike the real Charles Lee Ray in the other movie.
Yeah. So he like gives him the knife, and he's gullible, and he goes with him into this room. And these other two kids hide behind the door with like bats and stuff. So they hit him upside the head, and then they take out, instead of beating him continuously, they decide to take out his chip. And Andy is like trying to take it out, and he's like, I guess Chucky is like scared or whatever. He's like, he doesn't want to like get dysfunctioned or whatever. So he's like, oh no, like he was basically like doing anything possible not to try to have him take it out. And then he starts singing the Buddy song.
But you know what, I think it was more to it than that. I think that in this movie, Chucky actually had real emotion towards Andy. And I actually think that even though he had an ability to do evil in his heart, when he looked up and he saw Andy was among one of the ones jumping him, he didn't know how to process that.
Yeah.
And he's like, Andy. He said it a few times. He's like, Andy. You know? And then that's when he starts singing the song like, Andy, we're buddies. You know, you're going. And I think if it had been the Chucky in the original movie, it would have been a trick. But this, he really was feeling that way. And that's why I think that well, we'll get to that part.
Yeah.
But I honestly think he really was hurt by that and really naive and really didn't understand what was going on and kind of was a victim at the same time of circumstance, being programmed to be able to take in all this violence and not know how to deal with it. So I really think in a way he kind of was a victim himself.
Yeah, and it's really because like the other Chucky was a real person.
Yeah.
But this Chucky felt a bit more human than that Chucky, and he was a full machine.
Yeah. And he seemed more human than the other Chucky.
Yeah. So like they he get ready to take the chip out. He starts singing the Buddy song. And Andy hesitates for a minute because I think he like still feels like, well, damn.
He totally hesitated for the other two to go.
Yeah.
Because he had a feeling too there. There was an actual kinship between those two. You know, they actually had some good moments. That's why this Chucky kind of makes you feel like it was kind of endearing in a creepy way, like you had said earlier. Yeah.
So he basically is like getting, like, after they do that, they throw him down the chute. So like they throw him down the chute, which my first question is, why is all their issues seeming to be solved by throwing something down the chute?
I know. They
like,
never think to do anything else but throw it down the chute. Except for in the end. They did evolve in the end. I can say that.
Yeah. But like for the most part, everything was, oh, you got an issue? Throw it down the chute. You don't want to do your fucking homework? Throw it down the chute. Right. I don't think that part actually happens. I just made that up, but you get the point. But like, so they throw this dog down the chute. They don't even think to take it completely apart. So then this creeper dude finds him, and he basically I think he saw the doll like on the TV or whatever, and he's like, "Ooh, I gotta have that to try to resell it." I guess he wanted to resell it on eBay.
He did.
So he saw it and he was like, "Ooh, jackpot! I could sell this for hundreds of dollars or whatever." So he goes, he finds this doll, he takes it to this weird, creepy, like workshop lair place thing. I guess it's one of the parts inside of one of the apartments in the building. Yeah, because
he's like this creepy maintenance worker in the building.
Yeah.
And he kind of looks at all the cameras in the building. And he even is so creepy that he has cameras inside of certain people's apartment, like Andy's mother. And he's watching her as she's getting ready to take a bath. And
he's like trying to jack off to it and stuff. But like he doesn't get to that point because like first he's trying to patch Chucky up and fix him up so that he can resell him on eBay.
Yeah.
So he does his little thing where he like cuts him open and he's like, okay, so let's see what we dealing with here. Let's cut you open and see what we dealing with here.
And mind you, I have to say how he gets Chucky back to life. I have to say this part. He actually hooks him up to actual battery cables.
Yeah, I was like, wait, huh? I think that they he somehow jump started him, I think.
Yeah, he did.
Like a car.
Like a car.
Yeah. So like he jump starts him and then he starts like waking up and he's like seeing what this dude is doing to him. He's like opening him up and, you know, putting little things in, like, I forget what that little, I think he put another chip or whatever in him.
He put some type of little cylinder in him. And I'm like, is that his original cylinder? Did you find that from the trash? Do you run around with these in your pocket? How did this happen?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's one of the cylinders that go inside of one of those, like, because it seems like all of the technology in this world is connected in some way.
Yeah.
Maybe they all take this, like, cylinder, like, battery thing or whatever.
I don't know. But all I know is I had a bunch of questions about that one. I'm like, how?
Yeah, so he just had one just laying around. That might be, like, their new version of battery or something.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah, so he basically puts that in him, and he starts waking up and talking. He's like, yeah, jackpot, yeah, I got him fixed. Now I can sell him on eBay for a profit and stuff. Then he happens to look up, and he sees Andy's mom is in the bathroom trying to take a shower, and he's like, ooh. So like, oh, I forgot to mention the doll is playing music because he started up. That's when he found out, like, oh yeah, he working now. So he's playing music, looking at this dude trying to look at Andy's mom. So then he like, oh, okay, now I'm about to kill him.
Yeah.
But I guess he just decided to do that because the dude was cutting him up and doing stuff. But
I think he was okay with dude bringing him back to life. But then he saw him looking at Andy's mom. And
then he saw Andy having dinner with that old lady.
Yeah.
Trying to get that thing back.
And the lady actually made the comment of, at some point during dinner, because like I said, this dude had these creepy cameras inside looking at these residents in their own homes. And at this dinner, which Andy decided, like I had said before, the police officer that he talked to, which was this lady's son, where he had this watermelon present with this mask that was, the man's face in this house ready to be opened anytime close to his birthday. He finally had to take this police officer up on this offer and say, hey, I want to take you up on having dinner at your mom's house one day so that he can get access to get into this apartment so that he can actually get this and throw it away. So at his very first moment, he threw it away. He threw it down the chute. Okay, that's fine. But Chucky is seeing this, and, they're talking about this, and the woman is saying, so when did you ever bring me a present? To her son. And they're kind of like laughing about it, and she looks at Andy and says, you're my best friend.
Yeah, she's like, you my new best friend.
You my new best friend. And of course Chucky didn't like that. So this is all at the time when this dude is working on him down there. So he's seeing that. He's seeing this dude about to jack off to Andy's mom taking a bath. And he goes berserk. So he kills this dude in a very, very gruesome, violent way.
Yeah, very meticulous, very gruesome. He had it all planned out.
Yes, he
was connected to all the devices. I think even the heat was on there.
Yeah. So if you are a person who is A, afraid of new technology, and B, afraid of gruesome scenes, I suggest that you close your eyes very tightly during this scene.
Yeah, because it's so gruesome. It's basically like if Alexa had access, like, how all the little Alexa connected, like, stuff like the television, the lights, the heat, and everything. And he basically had access to all of the stuff in his apartment.
Everything.
So he had him. He kept gradually cutting his legs, kept turning his lights off and stuff.
Yes.
He kept trying to turn it back. I forgot the name of the system. It was something, but it was similar. It was basically Alexa.
Yeah, that's what it was, but they had to, of course, give it a different name. But yeah, it was exactly the concept of an Alexa.
So the doll is like running around cutting him up and stuff, gradually, like from his legs down there, and he's like trying to find out where he's at. And he's like, "What are you?" So then,
you're deaf.
Yeah, exactly. So he has a saw table in the room, and he had this, like, I don't know, it's like this line where it's like, I guess, connected to the heat or something. Like, it was really, like, it had the ability where if he turned up the little dial on the wall or whatever, it would heat up. Well, dude was holding on to that, and the saw was underneath him where his feet was, and he was trying to stay up. So Chucky was looking, and he was looking like, oh, you think you about to escape this? And then he put his finger up,
and he kept turning up the heat. And the dude was holding on for dear life with his hands, but this pipe is getting hotter and hotter, and Chucky just keep gradually turning up the degrees to the point where, his hands are literally burning. I'm quite sure his fingerprints had burnt off at that time. So it's either hang on and burn your hands completely off, or let go and get completely split in half by this saw that's under you.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really gruesome.
Yeah, so he was gradually letting go. He was holding on. One of his hands, he was trying to cool off or whatever and hold on, but it was just getting too hot.
Yeah.
And he was like trying to hold on. He kept slipping off. Then he got to like his last two fingers or whatever, and he knew he was about to die because during the process of that, his toe got cut off from the saw, and he was like reacting to that too. And then he just let go because it was he eventually couldn't take the heat no more, and he just got sawed into many pieces. Like you saw pieces of him flying everywhere.
You saw a leg fly across the screen. Not even kidding. You saw a leg fly across the screen.
It just flew across the screen like a damn spaceship.
But yeah, that was crazy. So you see all of this, and you already know that he's gonna eventually come after this woman who has said that she's his new best friend, or he's her new best friend, because he's taking this stuff quite literally. So you want to go ahead and
so he gets this buddy box. I guess dude had a buddy box down there. He repackages himself, and then he puts himself at the foot of one of his neighbor's doors. Because he knew Andy would be too smart at this point, which I don't see how, but he knew Andy and his mom would be too smart to be like,
yeah, another one?
yeah, where did this come from?
Yay, we want it. No.
Yeah. So this other little boy gets this doll. And he thinking it's something else, like somebody else's. Like he's not thinking that this is the same doll that Andy had.
And he's one of the ones who saw this Chucky cussing and doing all types of cool stuff. So he does want one, because he was one of the ones who was making him do some of this vulgar stuff. So he wanted one of his own anyway.
Yeah. So he gets in this dude's house, this boy's house, and then somebody comes up to Andy because he just minding his own business, and he's like. This dude's like, hey, guess what? So-and-so, I forgot the boy's name. He's like, yeah, he got a buddy doll. It was just sitting out in front of his door. First of all, that's a red flag. Why would somebody just leave a buddy doll outside somebody's door?
It's as expensive as they so-called are in this movie. Somebody would just leave you one.
Yeah, and I'm surprised nobody else didn't try to steal it.
And they didn't live in the best of neighborhoods.
Yeah. So I'm surprised nobody freaking stole it.
Right.
So, like, he has his... I'm surprised his mom didn't say anything. I'm sorry, but my mom, she certainly would not accept no doll that was just laying there in the front of our apartment door. I don't care how expensive it is. No, it's creepy. We just wouldn't do that. So the fact that they even brought this thing in their house in general is like, what?
Right.
Yeah, a white parent wouldn't do that. An Asian parent wouldn't do that. Any person with common sense would not do that.
No.
We also never discussed, like, one of the things I was thinking about earlier is they never ever discuss Andy's father. Like,
no, they didn't.
They basically gloss over it.
Yeah, he just happened to look at a book, and he was talking about all of these things in the book. And when it got to the picture book where they showed a picture of him, his mom, and his dad, he closed the book and he's like, well, it's enough of that. And that's all you ever get of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the similarities of what's going on with the technology that we have today, they had a service that was somewhat like Uber and Lyft.
Yes.
But in this particular service, you didn't have an actual driver. It was all completely computer generated. So the mom, who had claimed Andy as a best friend, decides that she wants to go to the bingo in one of these cars that's computer generated. And of course, Chucky hijacks her ride. So that was one of the most gruesome scenes as well, because he had the audacity to safely get her to her destination. Let her brag to her friends that she had gotten there, because these older ladies are looking like, oh, she's in this new technology. Then he rips her backwards in this car, and he just starts doing all types of horror things, scaring her. I thought she was gonna die of a heart attack first.
Yeah.
Scaring her to death. He gets to the point where he's like crashing her into stuff, and then when he finally lets her see him, he takes her seatbelt off. So
he literally unclicks it, like from the inside, like from the technology thing. He just unclicks it. He turns off the airbag.
Yes.
Then he over there like, Andy's my friend. He's like very protective of Andy. He's like, Andy's my friend. And she's like, you motherfucker. And he looking like, oh, okay. So then he said, And he called her a she was I forgot what he said, but he was like, bitch. Like he did the heartbeat.
And he killed her dead. Mind you, this is the police officer's mom, who Andy has made friends with.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, he straight up called her a he unclicked her seatbelt. He turned off the airbags.
Yes, he did.
He wanted to make sure her skull hit that windshield wiper
Hard.
And then he speeds up her car right after he calls her a bitch. Rams her into this car. She hits this thing, no airbags, no seatbelt, no nothing. She's still alive, but he gets up there and he proceeds to kill her anyway. I think he got in there, he started cutting her up.
Yeah.
He got inside the car and started cutting her up. Cause she looking around like, oh my gosh, like what's gonna happen? Like I can't get outside the car, but I'm kind of scared to stay in the car. I don't know what to do, and I'm injured. And he just come in from the inside and just start slicing her up.
But here's the thing. You, the police officer, which the police officer who is her son, is the very police officer who finds out about every last one of these murders. He's on every last one of them, including his own mother. And he pulls back that sheet, and he sees her out of this car accident with a knife sticking out her chest. Oh, that's enough to make anybody go ballistic. Because that was no accident. Not only did she die in this car accident, but somebody had the audacity to stab her to finish her off. He lost it.
Yeah. And in the meantime, during when all of this is going on, with the murder is going on and everything, Andy, he got a hold of this boy's phone. Cause we forgot to mention he got in a fight with the boy who had the Chucky doll at the time, because he was up there messing with him in the store. Yeah, he got into a scuffle with that boy because of that, because he was like, oh, what you doing to my dog? Because he started punching the doll, because the dog was walking up saying like, oh yeah, you basically, like, they not your friends. See, they ain't gonna be your friends. See, everybody leaves you, because he said that to him before, and the only one who would know that is Chucky. And he's looking, he's like, oh my gosh,
you're not
yeah
this other doll that, whatever this guy named this doll, you're actually the Chucky doll that I had. This is how he's looking at him in the store.
And his eyes was red. And he was like, wait a minute, my Chucky's doll had red eyes, not the other ones.
But here's the thing that gets me. This Chucky was willing to really throw him under, I'm not going to even say a city bus. He was willing to throw him under a greyhound, under an airplane, under a train. Because this dude, this Chucky, he took the store TVs and he showed scenes of how the stepfather was treating him and how he said he wished he was gone, how the woman, the mother, getting into that car. He basically shows so much evidence, and this Andy is like, stop, and trying to, get at the TVs in the store and all this, that. But this Chucky was hardcore when it came to that. He was like showing all of this evidence, and it was just crazy. Yeah. I thought that was crazy.
So yeah, he starts wailing on this doll, and this boy's like, yo, what you doing to my doll or whatever? And they start getting into a fight, and his friends start turning on him and stuff too, because he done knocked one of them halfway across the room because they tried to stop the fight.
Yeah.
And he's holding his head because I guess he had his head hurt, and he basically like, look, it's Chucky, and they thinking he going crazy. Yeah. So these friends is thinking, oh, he crazy or whatever. We not his friend no more, whatever. Maybe he the one doing it or whatever, these killings and stuff, and he blaming it on the doll or something.
Yeah.
And so, like, during all of this, he accidentally picks up the boy's phone and sees, like, he can log into his app, and he sees Chucky looking at the mom getting into the car.
That's the part that I'm confusing it with.
Yes.
Right there.
So he tries to run and go towards the mom, chasing after her or whatever. She's at the car or whatever, and he's like running, and he couldn't get to her in time. Yeah, so he's at home. He's like, dang, like I think she might be getting killed or whatever. I think something might be happening to his mom, and his Andy's mom is like, what is you talking about? She was like, yeah. He was like, Chucky gonna try to kill her. He gonna try to kill us and stuff. He gonna try to kill her. She was like, Chucky's a doll, basically. Like, she don't believe none of it. And he was like, yeah, I see it on the phone. Like, I'm looking at it on the phone and I'm seeing him following her or whatever. I could show you.
And instead of her taking the phone and looking at it, which would have been the most simple thing to do, she takes the phone and she gives it back without even looking at that. That made me mad.
Yeah, because she was like, oh wait, where did you get that? He was like, oh, it's the boy, basically. I forgot his name. I'm sorry, I forgot the boy's name, but I got it. I took it, and she was like, I'm gonna take it back. I'm gonna give it to the mom.
And see, that's the whole thing about her. She is so righteous when it comes to stuff like that, but she's not righteous when it comes to letting this guy come in her apartment, having sex with him midday, and your son being able to walk in on you and see this. She is so immature and so non-parent like until it comes to moments like this, and then all of a sudden she tries to become an ideal parent.
Yeah.
And she's still wrong, because she should have just looked at the phone.
Yeah, at least check to see what he was talking about first, to see, like, why is my son freaking out? And her form of punishment for this is, you know what, you're gonna go to work with me tomorrow.
Which is so stupid.
Yeah. So he basically is like sad, whatever. I think he told the kids like, yo, he's gonna go after his mom or whatever, and they don't believe him. And then the next day, after they find the mom's body and the police is over at her apartment and stuff, the kids are seeing this and they're like, I think Andy was right. That I think since all these polices and stuff is over here, I think that she actually died. I think he killed her. Like, I think the dog killed her. And so they trying to investigate. And so they go to the boy that had the current Chucky doll, and they was like, yo, where's your doll? He was like, I don't know, he disappeared randomly. And they was like, so what?
Give me your phone.
Yeah, they was like, give me your phone. He was like, wait, he was like, don't you think y'all should be looking at Andy? Like, he wanted the doll or whatever, and they was like, give me your phone, and they like manhandled him for his phone.
No, the girl manhandled him.
She manhandled
for his phone, and he looked stupid.
So yeah, they check his phone and they see the murder on the phone live of him killing this woman, and then they see images of him looking at Chucky at the store, his mom's job.
And they're like, Andy.
Yeah, I meant to say Andy. He looking at Andy at the store, and they're like, oh no, Andy, he about to try to get Andy, so we gotta save him or whatever. So they trying to rush to the store. They looking for Andy, and during this time, this officer is mad because he done seen, because they done found dude's head in the chute now. And because the mom was there and they looking for evidence and stuff, they find his head in the chute.
And they find it wrapped in the wrapping paper that Andy had given her. And he knows this is the gift that Andy gave her, this watermelon with this head of Andy's mother's boyfriend on it. And he's putting two and two together, which he's getting the wrong number. He's thinking it's Andy, and he's not knowing it's his doll. Right. So he's coming after him. He is mad as all get out, thinking that Andy did this to his mom. Because
it doesn't make sense in a way, though. Because how would Andy kill somebody and leave footprints of a toddler? Because they said the only footprints on the scene was toddler footprints.
Right.
There's no way, because they're not supposed to know this doll is able to do that. So how would he even be able to pin that to Andy anyway?
But see, that's just it. His mother was gone, and the only thing he knew is that Andy had given her that gift that he saw in the dumpster that is now evidence, and he now sees that this guy's face is on this watermelon that Andy gave her. So he's not even thinking rationally at this point. He's thinking, my mom's dead, I want heads to roll. Literally, no pun intended.
I was about to say,
but this is what he's thinking at this point.
Yeah. So he gets like the evidence, and he puts two and two together. So while Andy's at the store, I guess the officer's on his way over there to arrest him. And Andy's looking around, and the kids is running up trying to find him, and all of a sudden you see Andy get arrested by the officer. So he looking around, walking around and stuff, and these kids is looking for him, and Chucky done found his way inside the store. And it's a mascot. It's a dude wearing like the little Chucky mask, head bobble thing. It was a giant. first of all, why would you have a costume with a head that big? Like that looked way too big for that man's body.
It really did.
So it was so ridiculous looking. But it was like a launch of like a new version of the Buddy dolls, and there's some of them was like bears and stuff and little animals. Someone was like blonde haired versions of it.
Yes.
It was like more versions of it, and I guess they could do more.
But what I don't understand is the dude who was in the costume was the same dude who actually wound up giving them the Chucky doll after the mother had blackmailed him because he was sleeping with somebody that he should have been sleeping with. But, so, I guess in movie scenes, he kind of deserved to die. So you knew something was going to happen to him. I just didn't know how it would make it back around to him, but this is how it did. And he's in this costume, and Chucky is actually standing behind him because they got a whole bunch of dolls behind him, and they're behind this curtain. And Chucky takes the knife and stabs him in his neck.
Yeah, and this dude is slowly dying in this costume, right?
Yeah, and he's passing out. But here's the thing, I ain't never seen this in my life. I have never seen somebody get stabbed there and bleed profusely when they take off the mask, the costume, and blood is like spattering all over the crowd. But then all of a sudden the police officer runs to him and tells him to put pressure on it, and he's able to stop the blood where he's actually still alive.
Yeah, and so like when Chucky, like, cause he actually like he had arrested Andy, and mom is like, what are you doing? We're like, what are you doing? That's my son. He's like, I don't give a damn who he is. Basically, like you ain't about to stop me. I'm taking this kid in. And then that's when the whole neck stabbing happened. And he looks and he's trying to find out what the hell's going on. So he handcuffs Andy to a cart thing, and so he couldn't really escape. So he runs over to this dude. He's like, yeah, apply pressure. Yeah, let's stop the bleeding or whatever. So yeah, he does that, and the whole store, the lights go black. The screens start distorting and acting weird with the little promos and stuff, and then Chucky is like saying, let's play. So then he has these helicopters coming out, and this dude in the meantime that got stabbed in the neck is looking up at the screen too, looking like
right. I have never seen that before, ever in my life. My life.
You would have expected that dude to like with all the blood he was losing and spraying and stuff around.
Yeah, he wouldn't even been conscious to be able to hold the pressure on his neck at that point.
Yeah, he was just laying there like normally he would have just dropped dead after a little bit.
Right.
If he was standing there spraying like that, surely after he would have just dropped dead.
But all of the characters that you expected that they would, well, not all, but at least the mom, I thought they would keep her alive. We would see her in some end scene, getting rushed to the hospital or whatever. No, they decided to leave him alive. For what?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if he survived through that whole thing. It's implied that he did, but... Yeah, that's weird. Like, he just was there to spray blood on the crowd.
Right.
Yeah.
That was a completely weird. That was weird.
Yeah. So, like, now it's chaos. And so he had these, like, toy helicopters that I guess he's able to control just about every toy in the store now, I guess.
Yeah, with the touch of his finger.
Yeah. Just his finger. You can just touch it because I guess he's connected to everything because it's like this cloud system. And I guess everything somehow can connect through that. So, kind of like how Alexa is with TVs and stuff. But yeah, so he does that, and these helicopters start flying in and cutting people's necks and stuff and aiming at people, and people got to be knocking these things away and stuff. And somebody saved one of the kids and got cut, and they basically was like, but one of their last words was run or whatever.
Oh, that was the police officer who we thought was dead?
Yeah, I thought for sure he was dead. Yeah,
but
it was him.
Then he winds up coming back in the end to we'll get to that.
Yeah, I guess I assumed he died because I guess I assumed it was somebody.
Did.
No, I think I assumed it might have been somebody else because I'm like, there's no way in hell he survived that if he did die.
No, that was the same.
Didn't he get cut in the neck?
Yeah. So you thought, but you know what? This movie completely defies all laws of getting cut in the neck. So if you ever get cut in the neck, just wish yourself into this movie and you'll live.
Yeah, but everybody else they got cut in like the stomach or the
they die.
Yeah, apparently.
But you get cut
in the neck,
and that vein, that artery, however you say it, if it gets sliced, you will survive in this movie.
Yeah. So yeah, everybody that get cut in the neck in this movie survived apparently. So yeah, so he tells the kid to run. He runs, but they find Andy. Him and the girl find Andy. And this girl, she is such a badass, man.
Yes.
She had this like bat, like the spiky bat thing or whatever. She came in, she was like hitting like because it was this bear version of the buddy, and he was controlling him, and he was about to try to get Andy. She yeeted that thing across the room with this bat. Then she unhooked him from the cart by smashing it in, and somehow I guess it broke the cuffs, and he was able to get loose because they was not leaving there without Andy. So then they start running through the area, and they start trying to get out and leave. And at the last minute, Chucky showing his mom on the screen, basically, Andy.
Oh, and also, Chucky decided to do a lockdown of the building at the last minute. So as this is going and people are running out the building and Andy's about to run out the building, just before they show his mom, they show these walls coming down to the building to lock people in.
Mm-hmm.
So he had a choice to get in or out, and there was something that was blocking the exit.
Mm-hmm.
Something that they had there that held that one open.
Mm-hmm.
And Andy told him, okay, yeah, I'm coming with you, you're right, we're gonna get the police and then we're gonna come back. So he made sure that all of his friends was out, and then he kicked that object out and let the wall fall, and he told him, I cannot leave without my mom. So he went back to go and try to defend her.
First of all, though, why close it? I guess he didn't want his friends to come back for him.
In.
Yeah, that's true. It is like you locking your moms in there though.
But he knew that chances are they was gonna come in and they was gonna get killed. It was his fight, and he just didn't want that.
True.
So.
True. But yeah, you at the same time you locking your moms inside there with a killer doll that you're not sure you can kill. But still, it's but so he goes back.
But he knew they wasn't coming back in.
Yeah, that's true.
So they might have came in to try to get him out or pull him out, but they wasn't coming in and try to save the mom.
True. They just don't get the.
They was trying to talk him into leaving the mom.
Yeah. To be honest, most moms would have rathered that.
True.
Because when she saw her son, she looked horrified.
Yeah, she was like, no.
Yeah. So, but he felt like, nah, I gotta save my mom. I gotta take care of her.
Right.
So he goes, he sees his mom, and he's like, she's literally like down this hallway. Because he had, like, Chucky had him following this, like, toy cart thing to where she was. Mm-hmm. Which, first of all, I would still be watching my surroundings. Because, like, he could be luring you away so he could come up from behind you. But he didn't do that yet. So he let him actually see his mom, and then that's when he started trying to attack. So yeah, they getting this whole knockdown, drag out fight, and the mom is on has this rope around her neck, and she's like in this chair, and it's like connected to this machine, and Chucky has this thing activated. So now it's gradually lifting her up, gradually choking her ass out. And so the boy is up there. He didn't yeeted Chucky somewhere. And then he climbs up and he's trying to cut her down. And he's trying to gradually cut her down, which I don't see how she survived that long.
Me either.
Because I'm like, she should have been there. She was just, some scenes she was struggling, some scenes she was just hanging there like a rag doll, like she had already died.
But see, that's just the whole thing. And maybe I wasn't seeing it completely. I thought maybe I didn't understand. I think that maybe she had a string around her that eventually it was going to choke her out as it went up. Mm-hmm. But I don't think it was. I think it was pulling her up and the string was, pulling and eventually going to do that. And he cut her down before that could happen.
She was still hanging though.
Oh yeah, she was hanging.
Neck.
But I think that it was a platform that was pulling her up. And when she got to the end, she was going to.
No, she was hanging.
Huh.
She was hanging because they was on the string and she was being swung back and forth because Chucky came at him when he was trying to cut his mom down. Mm-hmm. So then these two is on the rope fighting, and he's trying to continuously get this doll off of him and trying to cut the string off or the rope, and the mom is just hanging there like. So I'm like, wait, shouldn't she be dead? Shouldn't that have snapped her neck by now?
See, that's why I'm not totally convinced that it was just around her neck.
Maybe it looked like she was hanging there though, from her neck.
Yeah, I think she was being pulled up and eventually it was going to happen, but I don't think that it was happening as of yet. That's why I think he was able to cut her down I don't, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, because wouldn't she have fallen on that platform?
Well, she fell. When she fell like on her arm and her leg and whatnot. So, and I don't know how she went away without being like something broken, but they didn't show that anything was.
Yeah, she was being carried out. She didn't really walk.
So
yeah,
she might have had something broken.
Yeah, but then again, she ran up and hooked. Now she got up and she yeeted him across the screen. When
she did. She took his head off.
Yeah, cause he stabbed, which Andy's dumb, like we said. He stabs this thing once, like before he gets a chance to stab this thing, because he's choking him or whatever. He's trying to like he about to try to stab him and stuff. And Andy's like singing the Buddy song, I guess, to throw him off guard.
Yeah.
And for a moment he paused too, because I guess he's like, well, he is my friend.
Yeah.
You know? And then all of a sudden Andy stabs him, and he basically was like, knocking him away, stabbing him. He stabs him like once, and then the thing is still like kind of talking, stuttering, and it's still stuttering a little bit.
And he walks away while this is happening.
Yeah. I'm like, no, I would have made sure that thing was done. He leaves the knife in his chest and everything so he could come back with it. So then he tries to get he tries to come back again, and the mom is up, and the police officer comes in at the last minute, and he shoots the doll away before he can get to Andy.
The doll is in mid-air, and the police officer shoots him. Perfect shot. The police officer that we thought had, got killed by getting shot in the neck with the airplane, but these neck injuries aren't the same as what we think they would be in this movie. So.
Yeah, it literally like sliced his neck.
Yeah.
But yeah, like he shoots him perfect shot after having a cut in his neck and everything.
Yeah.
Perfect shot. I don't know, maybe he was driven by anger, I don't know. But so the mom is up too. And shooting it wasn't enough, which I wouldn't have thought it was enough either. So she gets up, she pulls this thing's head off like mama bear, like, and she like, don't f with my baby. And she throw his head across the room, like.
Yes.
Then she hugs her son and everything, and the dude is just looking like, damn. Like, I still lost my mom, but at least we killed the thing. He looking over the thing like that thing was creepy. Like,
well, what was up with her feeling on the police officer dude when they was going out in the gurneys?
I think maybe she felt sorry for him, because maybe she knew that his mom died but didn't know how. And because remember the son was saying, I think he's gonna hurt his mom. I think he's gonna hurt Miss I forget her name. I think maybe she realized, damn, that thing really did kill his mama.
Okay. Okay, I can see that.
Yeah, she probably looking like, basically, in other words, a silent apology, like, I didn't know, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
But
okay, now I get that.
Yeah.
So that was the movie. And we're gonna get to, we actually have a rose system.
Yeah, it's a rose system.
Where we're gonna tell you how many roses we give this movie from 1 to 5. And before we get to that, we're probably gonna tell you some of the similarities and differences between this movie and the original.
Okay, yeah, definitely. So what are some of your similarities and differences for this movie and the old Child's Play movie?
Okay, similarities is that Andy is friends with this doll. And that Andy forms some form of loyalty to this doll. That they do have a police officer in both of them, which and similarity. Well, this movie is really different on a lot of scales than the other movie. So when it comes to that, that's pretty much the similarities.
They have the same officer name.
Yeah.
But they just have different races.
Yeah.
Being played by the officers.
Yeah, different races. What else? That's pretty much as far as the similarities. You know, that they're both dolls, that they're both come from this big company that, everybody is kind of like fawning over these dolls, and they're the most popular things at that moment. That's similarities. Differences that I can see right off the bat is that, one, these dolls are more or less, like we had mentioned before, computer based. You know, it's like if it were to happen now in this time and in this date with all of the smart technology that we have, what the Chucky doll would have been able to do in this time and date. I do like the look of the other Chucky doll better.
Yes, this one is fugly.
Yes.
I'm sorry. It is so fugly.
There was nothing cute about this doll. So it kind of takes you a while to get past that this doll is just hideous. But it's a lot of differences. I mean, the fact of the matter that the mom is so much dumber, the fact of the matter that she's so much more loose, the fact of the matter that this Andy is not as smart but older. The younger version in the old movie was smarter than...
Yeah, the instant Chucky started doing crazy stuff, like when he killed the babysitter, the boy was like, I didn't do it. It was Chucky. He was basically like suspecting Chucky and everything.
Right off. You don't do that.
Yeah, he was like, no. He was like not having it.
But this Andy is like, well, I know he's trying to kill things, but no.
He killed my damn cat, but I'm gonna still be friends with it.
Right. You don't do that. You just don't do that, And then how this Andy has the teenage friends who are down with him until they think he's crazy, but then they get down with him again. The other Andy didn't have that.
He didn't really have any friends.
Right. This Andy, and at first this Andy didn't either because he had a disability. He was really kind of outcast.
Yeah, hearing aid.
Yeah, but this doll kind of made him kind of popular because this doll was cussing and doing whatever else. And, that's a complete difference than the original movie as well.
Yeah, it was much more of a secret that this Chucky doll was different. Only Andy knew because he talked to him at night and he was like giving little clues, stuff like, oh yeah, his name is Charles Lee Ray, but they call him Chucky. Yeah. That's his nickname. And people was like starting to put two and together. Wait a minute, that's a killer name.
Yeah. And then one of the major differences that I noticed, that this probably won't be on a whole bunch of people's lists, but me and you both talked about this. They don't have the Chucky chant.
Yeah, and everybody loves the iconic chant, the Dumbledore chant.
Right. I wanted the chant. But of course there's no reason to do a chant because
this is computer made.
It's computer made and he just literally wants to imprint on him and be a friend.
Yeah.
So there is no creepy man hanging with this kid.
Yeah.
It's actually this creepy doll who just wants a friend and is going about it the wrong way.
It's basically that super obsessive friend. It's kind of like Unfriended. Remember that scene?
Yes.
Where this girl creepily started getting attached to that other girl?
Yes.
And she starts doing all types of weird stuff and voodoo stuff and everything. It's kind of like that, only doll wise.
Yes. And then I guess Chucky is kind of looking like, wait a minute, you didn't get these friends until you start showing them how cool I was. Now you got these friends and you ain't paying me no attention. I'm not having that.
Yeah.
So that was the difference as well in this movie.
Yeah, he was trying to show Andy how everybody always leaves him and that he'll only have him. Yeah. He's also kind of like a weird stalker boyfriend.
Yeah.
In a way, it's kind of weird.
Give that stalker-esque vibe in this movie.
And the other Chucky is weird. Like, the other Chucky was less human, even though he was a human. But this Chucky was a bit more human, but he was just
completely
a machine.
Computer.
Yeah.
So he really was just longing for Andy's emotion. And every time he said something, he's like, so can we play now? Or I mean, every time he did something bad, he's like, so can we play now? Or are we friends? Or basically, are we good? And it was like he was really always searching for affirmation, So.
Yeah, and that's something the other Chucky, he didn't give a damn.
He gave zero frigates. Froggies.
Anytime the old Chucky did the whole "you're my friend to the end" thing, he was just trying to trick Andy.
Yeah.
You knew it was a trick.
And when he went hidey ho, ha ha ha, you best believe he was really laughing on the inside.
Yeah, he was really laughing like, yeah, I'm about to steal a mess out of this little boy's body, which sounds wrong actually.
It really
I'm never saying that again.
Okay, so is there anything else you want to impart, or do you think we're getting to the part where we need to give the ratings?
I think we should give the ratings.
Alrighty.
Okay, so for me, I think I give this movie a 4 out of 5 roses because I just genuinely enjoyed the movie. Like, I know they did some stupid stuff in this movie, but some of the stupidity made me laugh, and I found that hilarious.
Yes.
And it kept me on the edge of my seat still. The murder scenes was crazy. Like, it made me cringe. And it did everything a scary movie was supposed to do for me. It did some stupid stuff. I think that's why I'm giving it like a 4 out of 5. Because some of the stupid moments just didn't make any sense.
Yeah. And see, that's why I'm kind of bouncing back and forth between a 3 and a 4. Because, don't get me wrong, the movie is definitely worth seeing.
Mm-hmm.
It is something that, you will be engrossed in. You will... The scary scenes are really gruesome. It is a storyline that has not been done yet. They took this whole computeristic Alexa type angle that with this Chucky angle that it has not been done yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I do like that. It's just that the points for the stupidity have to be subtracted. I mean, it's so many things in here that you're like, but why? But why? You know what? I'm going to go ahead and give it the 4th rose. But some of the stupidity is unforgivable. But it is a movie that I don't think you'll regret seeing.
Yeah.
It will not take the place of the first Chucky.
Yeah, by any means.
Child's Play, I should say. But here's the thing. If you want a completely new today's view of that movie, something that's completely different, something that will engage your thought patterns in that particular way, this is a good movie to go see. You just have to forgive some of the stupidity.
I feel like if this movie would have came out first and the other Chucky movies didn't come out, this would be considered a really good movie. But I think everybody just can't shake the whole how good the other Child's Plays were.
Yes,
and the other Chuckies.
The first ones. Towards the end, people start getting really aggravated.
Some people really enjoy it, like the Seed of
them.
Chucky, and some people really enjoy it, especially the Bride of Chucky and the I really enjoyed the Bride of Chucky.
And I'm one of those people who I hung on to the end. I liked it all. I liked it when it was scary, and then I liked it when it got more comedic.
Yeah,
I liked
them all just about. And I think I'm hearing it is starting to get back into its super scary roots. Like the Curse of Chucky, I heard was kind of like really scary. So I haven't seen that one yet, but we did see the no, we saw the Curse of Chucky. We didn't see the Cult of Chucky is what we didn't see.
Okay, yeah,
we saw the Curse.
I think we saw the Curse.
We saw the Curse of Chucky. I think it was a sequel to the Curse of Chucky. It was the Cult of Chucky. Okay. So we didn't see that one.
Well, that might have to be a movie that we're gonna have to see and review. And if that's what you want us to do, please let us know. Yeah.
Make sure you hit that like button and that subscribe button if you want to see more content.
Until next time.
Okay, Heidi ho.
Peace.